What's going on, AZ Sports fan family? We're back at it again with another preview, already going into week 3. We are no longer going to be talking about Vikings versus Cardinals. Obviously, we're now 2-0, but now we're looking forward and now looking into the Jacksonville Jaguars week 3 matchup preview. Here we go. Alright guys, welcome back in. Now, like I mentioned in the intro, today what we're going to talk about is we're going to preview the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Arizona Cardinals week 3 matchup. Now, obviously, we've seen a tale of a lot of differences when it comes down to our defense. We've seen a dominant defense, and then we've seen a defense that was very mediocre and made us want to pull out our hair. I'm very curious to see what type of game plan Vance Joseph is going to bring in for this rookie quarterback. But before we get started, definitely do me one big favor. Smash that like button and subscribe to the AZ Sports Fan on YouTube. We talk everything Arizona Cardinals. Definitely do me a big favor. Put your post notification bell on as well, just so when we go live or when we drop the next video. Without further ado, let's go and just jump right into it here. I always love to start off with the opposing team here. I have my 3 things to look out for the Arizona Cardinals versus the Jacksonville Jaguars game. Week 3, very first thing to look out for our Arizona Cardinals is we are playing a team that has their back up against the wall. Now, I understand they are currently in rebuilding mode. They did just draft their rookie quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, that was taken very number 1 overall. So this is a matchup to really take a look into here, because this game right here really has trap game written all over it. And honestly, I'm a little worried about it because sometimes the Arizona Cardinals don't really come out to play, especially when they play a team that's 0-2. They kind of play to the level of their competition, and this is a perfect test to really find out is if the Arizona Cardinals are going to come out and play this Sunday. We've seen this story before last year. We started off 2-0, and then we ran into the 0-2 Lions. Kind of the same scenario here where we're 2-0 and we're running into an 0-2 Jaguars team. So whenever we play a team that has their back up against the wall, that means they got nothing to lose. They're going to play you very physical. They're going to play you very, very scrappy. So it's definitely a matchup that I'm really looking forward to see and what happens with our Arizona Cardinals. Things to look out for, number 2 is going to be James Robinson. Now, this guy was a 1,000-yard rusher last season. Now, this guy is an undrafted player that was not drafted in the draft, so he has a lot to really prove here, and he has done that last year. Now, so far his stats don't really look too spectacular. It seems like either Carlos Hyde might have the most of the carries, or it seems like James Robinson might have most of the carries, but they don't really seem to cross that 100-yard field so far yet. James Robinson, in my mind, is their number 1 back. We might see a good dosage of Carlos Hyde. That's very well a possibility, but in my mind, James Robinson is the guy to look out for. Things to look out for, number 3, I have to say their wide receiving core, DJ Chark as well as Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones spent most of his career in the Lions, and now he was picked up in free agency to go ahead and make sure he's going to be a viable target, a veteran for Trevor Lawrence. And so far, he has been pretty decent for the Jacksonville Jaguars this year so far. But obviously, DJ Chark is another player that we need to look out for, a guy that's going to take the top off the defense, that type of 1 to 2 plays, but very chunk yard type of play. So those are the 2 wide receivers that I really feel like we need to keep our eyes peeled, really see if we have what it takes with our cornerbacks. Now let's move on to 3 keys to success for our Arizona Cardinals. What we need to do to come out with the W here. Number 1 is going to be penalties. We've seen it the very first game. We've seen it the second game. It's a trend that's been happening, and it's been plaguing this Arizona Cardinal team under the watch of Cliff Kingsbury. So I want to see a penalty-free game, or maybe just a 1 penalty, a 2 penalty game. I mean, obviously, I would love to have a penalty-free game, but let's be honest, we don't get those very, very much because it's all subjective to what the referees think they see and all that different stuff. But I would love to limit the penalties as much as we possibly could because, man, they're getting pretty annoying, especially because when our offense is getting going, we're in the red zone and we do some boneheaded mistake with the false start or or something dumb like that. So we need to make sure that we're all cylinders go. Limit the penalties is absolutely key for me. Piece of success number 2, I feel like we need to apply pressure. We've seen the best of both worlds. We've seen a very beautiful game when we had a pass rush in the very first game against the Titans, and then we had the not so beautiful game against the Vikings. So I do feel like our defense rides and dies with our pass rush. So that means Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt, Marcus Golden, Rashad Lawrence, everybody on that whole defensive line. We need to make sure that we apply pressure to this young rookie quarterback and make sure that he makes mistakes. Whenever our pass rush gets going, that means our DBs can really shine out there. So this might be a test. This could be a very good test for either our defensive line or our cornerbacks. But I've seen the trend so far in the first 2 games, and if we can get a pass rush going and we can make sure that that quarterback makes some silly mistakes or they feel pressured, our cornerbacks will shine. So pressure is absolutely key. Key to success number 3, the Arizona Cardinals need to play like they're a 0-2 team. We've seen it time and time again. Now, I mentioned a little bit earlier that this is trap game all over it. I don't want to see the Cardinals come out here and play to the level of their competition. If you take a look at the roster, the Arizona Cardinals have a better roster on paper, but it really just depends. Any given Sundays, the matchups, all that different stuff plays a big part in what happens on Sundays, Thursdays, and Mondays. The Arizona Cardinals needs to come out and play physical. They need to start fast, and they need to make sure that we set a tone and really come down to the nitty-gritty and figure out what does this Arizona Cardinal team do when they face adversity. And we faced it during the Vikings game. That Vikings game, we could have easily lost that game and been a 1-1 team, but we have an opportunity to become a 3-0 team, but we need to take care of business. All right, now we got my favorite matchups here. What matchups I'm really looking forward to taking a look in this game here. Now, there wasn't really big names out on their defensive side of the ball or offensive side of the ball other than Trevor Lawrence, because a lot of eyes are on the very first overall pick in this last draft. But I want to see what Chandler Jones does against this offensive line. Can he have a bounce back game with maybe a couple sacks to put under his stat sheet for the 2021 season? That's something I'm really looking forward to. Can he bounce back and get some pressure on this rookie quarterback here? Next matchup I want to talk about is going to be our cornerbacks. Can our cornerbacks hold up if pressure isn't applied to Trevor Lawrence? And that means Byron Murphy, Robert Alford. Now, I know that Marco Wilson is going to be day-to-day at this point. We're not going to get a for sure answer if he's going to be playing until probably Friday or Saturday. That's probably going to be along the lines of if he's going to play or not. But DJ Chark is a great option, and Marvin Jones is a very good route runner. So we have our hands full, especially if pressure isn't applied. Any quarterback is going to be able to find a open receiver if you give them 4 to 5 to 6 seconds in the pocket. And that's something that we do not want to happen from here on out. Another matchup that I'm looking forward to see is our defensive line against their run game. James Robinson. Now, you can't really compare his running style to, Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook, but he's a very underrated running back in the NFL as of right now. So I want to make sure that we come back to the stopping the run mentality. They most likely will try to feed James Robinson first, but I think it's very important that, hey, if we start off fast and we continue to put the gas pedal down their throat, and if it becomes a 17-0 game, 21-0 game, they most likely will give up on their run game. And that's the kind of game that I want to see here. I want to make sure that their game plan gets thrown out the window because one of the two things, which is the passing or the run game, isn't working. I do think that we stop the run game and we expose Trevor Lawrence as the best option for the Arizona Cardinals to move forward first. So my public enemy number 1 for this game is going to be none other than James Robinson. Stop him and everything basically comes out and becomes better for the Arizona Cardinals. I do have the Arizona Cardinals winning this game, but it's really up to them to come out and show out and play that physicality Cardinal football that we all know that they can go ahead and show us. So guys, let me know what you guys think. 3 keys to success, 3 things to look out for in any key matchups you would want to see. Put everything in the comments below. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'm out.